Book of Acts chapter 15. Now, certain individuals who had come down from Judea began to teach the brethren, saying that unless they were circumcised according to the custom of Moses, they could not be saved. This led to no small dissension and debate between Paul and Barnabas and these individuals. It was decided that Paul, Barnabas, and some others should go up to Jerusalem to consult with the apostles and elders about this matter. The church sent them on their way, and as they passed through Phoenicia and Samaria, they shared the news of the conversion of the Gentiles, bringing great joy to all the brethren. When they arrived in Jerusalem, they were welcomed by the church, the apostles, and the elders, and they reported all that God had accomplished through them. However, some believers from the sect of the Pharisees argued that it was necessary to circumcise the Gentiles and command them to keep the law of Moses. This issue prompted the apostles and elders to convene and discuss the matter at length. After much debate, Peter stood up and addressed them, reminding them how God had chosen him to be the vessel through which the Gentiles first heard the gospel and believed. He emphasized that God had given the Holy Spirit to the Gentiles, purifying their hearts through faith, without making any distinction between them and the Jews. Peter questioned why they would test God by imposing a burden on the Gentile disciples that neither their forefathers nor the Jews themselves could bear. He affirmed their belief that both Jews and Gentiles would be saved through the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ. The assembly fell silent, listening attentively to Barnabas and Paul as they recounted the miracles and wonders God had performed among the Gentiles through them. After they had finished speaking, James addressed the gathering, affirming that God had long intended to take from the Gentiles a people for his name. He supported his statement with Old Testament prophecies, and he concluded that they should not trouble the Gentiles who had turned to God. Instead, James proposed that a letter be written to the Gentile believers, instructing them to abstain from idolatrous practices, fornication, meat sacrificed to idols, and the consumption of blood. He noted that Moses had preachers in every city who proclaimed the law on the Sabbath. The apostles and elders, along with the entire church, agreed with James's proposal. They selected Judas Barsabbas and Silas, both prominent members of the brethren, to accompany Paul and Barnabas to Antioch. In their letter, they extended greetings to the Gentile brethren in Antioch, Syria, and Cilicia, expressing their concern about certain individuals who had troubled them with teachings not endorsed by the apostles. They clarified that the apostles had not given any such commandments. The letter was approved by unanimous consent and was sent with Paul, Barnabas, Judas, and Silas. These men delivered the message to the Gentile brethren in Antioch, who rejoiced upon reading it. Judas and Silas, who were also prophets, delivered many exhortations and strengthened the brethren during their stay. After a period of time, the brethren let Judas and Silas depart in peace, while Silas chose to remain in Antioch. Paul and Barnabas continued teaching and preaching in Antioch, joined by many others. However, a dispute arose between Paul and Barnabas regarding whether to take John Mark with them on their next journey. The contention between them grew so intense that they decided to part ways. Barnabas took Mark and sailed to Cyprus, while Paul chose Silas as his companion. They departed with the blessings of the brethren and set out on their separate paths. Paul and Silas journeyed through Syria and Cilicia, strengthening the churches along the way.